Hey, it's Chaim here, and in this video I'm going to be showing you the inside of the My Interactive Tanya Perek notebook. So the purpose of this notebook is to get a good feel of what's inside, and also I'll try to show how the things are put together. Before we start, it's important that you know Tanya Perek very well. Different resources you could use are lessons in Tanya. Rabbi Miller has a great book on Tanya as well that I used, and shirmanChabad.org from Rabbi Gordon were amazing as well. So this is the front cover. In the student version, all these stuff come in black and white, and the students have time to color and decorate as they wish. So Lashem Aratzum Leah, this notebook belongs to, pretty straightforward. I'm just actually going to skip ahead a moment. So the way of the layout of the notebooks in general, at least this one, how it's going to work, is on the right-hand side is where they paste in the text of the Tanya with the translation, and on the left-hand side is all the printables, the interactive part given by the teacher. So let's take a step back. Points to ponder. This is like an overview of what Perek is going to be discussing and what this notebook is going to be focusing on and answering. So it's very good to have that in the beginning, highlighting what's to come. On this page, before we even start in the Tanya, so this is from Likutei Sichos, I've highlighted one of the notes, which here points out that the heart of Chassidus is Ahavas Yisroel, and therefore the Alter Rebbe actually put this Perek of Tanya in later, right in the middle of Tanya, Perek Lamed Beis, to bring this to the front and show how important this mitzvah is. So I stuck that right in the front as the introduction to our Perek Lamed Beis of Tanya. Okay, so here we can see I've taken a little bit of the Tanya translation, explanation. So that goes on the right hand side, like I said, and on the left hand side, all these things. So we also have like kind of a focus point on the bottom of the page as well, and a title on the top. Again, students are going to get the black and white version that they could color in and then glue in place and things like that. So the way these ones work, it's basically a foldable square, and it goes on these spaces that they'll have on the template. And it says, in the previous Perek, the Tanya explained what to think about in order to become more soul-focused, and 1, 2, and 3 are the 3 things that Prakim Chavtes through Lamed Aleph explained before getting into Perek Lamed Beis. Next page. So this is the next little bit of Tanya, which the Alter Rebbe asks a question: if love is an emotion, how can it be commanded? How can you tell somebody to love? And the Alter Rebbe explains that when we focus on the neshama, this is the easy and direct path to Ahavas Yisroel. So this is from a different page. They're going to cut it out and paste it over here. It shows that the straight path to Ahavas Yisroel is by focusing on the neshama. Okay, so perspective. If I am focused on my body perspective, then I am separated from other people, because my body is what separates me from other people. But if I focus on my soul, then I could look at somebody else and I don't even know what level their soul really is on. The way this page is put together, so this is a separate piece laminated and put together with a paper fastener, so it spins around and they can get the different perspective, whether it's the body or the soul. Another level of not knowing the other person is that on the level of soul, we're all equal. Bad and good doesn't really make a difference. If we focus on the neshama doesn't have good or bad. The value of a soul is beyond that. So I can't judge it based on somebody's actions. And even deeper than that, we're really unconditionally one, because Kol Yisrael Achim Mamish. So on this page we have the father, and we have strings coming out attaching to the templates for the children. My students, when they did this, I gave them colored paper. They cut and pasted, made their own shirts and pants and skirts and faces, and really designed these templates into looking like children. So on a very deep soul level, we're really all one. And this is how we focus on the neshama. What gets in the way? It's our bodies. Our bodies look different. So if we focus on the body, then we say, this person looks like this. That person is a little bit bigger. I also have a version of this for girls class. And that's, if we're self-centered perspective, it's impossible to feel as one. If we focus on how different we are. Oh, that's Velcroed. So there are templates where to put the Velcro, and that's how it stays on. Here's one of the fun stick pages. So you have a little knot glued underneath here, but the rest of the page is glued, and then this menshi is on a popsicle stick, and then it goes up and down. So then the Alter Rebbe discusses what Hillel Zaken said, that this is the whole Torah. So what is the connection between Ahavas Yisroel and mitzvahs that are between man and Hashem, like mezuzah, right? Ahavas Yisroel could be between me and another person. That could, be the point of all mitzvahs, so to speak, between man and another person. But what about mitzvahs between man and Hashem? So that's what the Alter Rebbe is going to be discussing next. So if we find out what the purpose of the whole Torah and mitzvahs are, is lifting the neshama, raising the neshama from the guf to its source, because the body is what conceals the true identity of the neshama, and it's bittul to Hashem. By doing mitzvahs, we get away from the yeshus of the body. So again, this is a separate circle piece that's cut out from the template, paper fastener with a string taped on the back, and then a string taped on the back of the fire here. And when you twirl it, it lifts our neshama higher than the body. Again, they could design the person template here. And the purpose of Torah mitzvahs is not only to lift up, but also to draw down back into this world. So here, I could put a picture of the student. We have Torah is drawing down this light, and here I had them do a little thinking activity of, here's a mitzvah I really love to do, so they could spend some time thinking about what that mitzvah is. And again, that's the purpose. So we're lifting up and we're drawing down. And then when we have that, and when Yidden focus on our oneness, then we become a place for the Eibishter. So here we have them being one, united, and then we have the throne where the Eibishter can be united in this world. Because the Eibishter wants to be a place that's one. Oh, sorry, I forgot to explain that one. Same thing with the paper fastener as well. So we got two here, and then they swing. Because Hashem doesn't want to be a place that is not perfect. And the example we bring over here is that just as a cup with a hole can't hold the water, okay, so we have the water start off like that, and it's on a string. So the string is what keeps it together here, so not all of it's fully glued down. And on the other side of the water, we have the string is taped down, so attached. So just like the cup can't hold the water if there's a hole, when the Yidden are united, we also can't hold Hashem's revelations. And like we say davening, that when we're together, that's when we have the light of the Eibishter. Just like siblings are one, so Yidden all need to be one. On the student template, these faces are blank, and the children can color them in or design them as they wish. Okay, so that's going. Now we're going on to the next part of the Tanya, that it seems to be there are certain cases where we're supposed to hate another Yid. So we've been talking about loving and being one, but now we know that there's a time that there is room for hating another Yid. So the Alter Rebbe quickly clarifies that it has to be based on these three conditions, and on the student version, these are going to be fill in the rest of the sentence. And this is an accordion, so the way it works, it comes out as one big template that they cut out and fold and glue down here so it comes out. But if those three conditions are not met, then yes, you have to stick with unconditional love for our fellow Yid. On the student version, with my students, I did a watercolor painting of this page. You could color it in as you wish, or come with some other creative ideas, but I did watercolor with my students. And somebody who is far from the Eibishter, and their only merit is that we call them brios, we still need to have Ahavas Yisroel towards them and try to draw them in. So here we did our mitzvah tank. Take a picture of your students, and they can cut it out and paste it in front of the mitzvah tank. And this also comes another place. So depending on where they paste themselves, that's where they'll paste the speech bubble. Excuse me, are you Jewish? So our mission is to try to draw even these people close. And even if they Oh, sorry, I'm skipping ahead. And hopefully we can inspire them to keep Torah mitzvahs. So that's the goal. So here we have this Menshi, and now he's wearing a yarmulke, and he's wearing tzitzis. One of my students actually said, hey, how come we can't put the strings on the tzitzis? So if you want, you could do that with your students as well, and put on some strings on the end instead of having the template here. And even if the person doesn't end up keeping Torah mitzvahs, you still fulfill the mitzvah of Ahavas Yisroel. So here we have another Menshi on a stick, and he's winning the award of loving your fellow. So he still has that mitzvah, even if the other person doesn't start keeping Torah mitzvahs. And what about those people that were close to you and that had the three conditions that you're supposed to hate them? Even though you have mitzvah to hate the seed, you also have mitzvah to love him. So here we have loving them, hating them, and again, I have a version of that for if you're doing a girls' class. So how do we have love and hate? How do we have both? And the reason we have both is because we hate them because of the wickedness in them, but we love them for the hidden good that is deep down there somewhere. This is a Velcro one, so we have the Velcro on this side and the Velcro here, and that's how it sticks. And besides for love and hate, we should also have compassion for them, because compassion is the key that unlocks the nefesh elokis from the clutches of the sitra achara. So on this page, on this template, so there's a line where to cut and make sure not to glue behind so that the key could fit in. I also stuck a little piece of tape to make sure this flap stays down. For the key, it goes string taped down here, and then string tied onto one end of the key, and then slip it in. And then the Tanya ends off with what David HaMelech says, with utter hatred do I hate them. That refers to Yidden who are educated, they know Yiddishkeit, Torah and Yiddishkeit, they're apikorsim, and they still rebel against Hashem. But that's only for David HaMelech. That's why the Tanya stresses that it's for David. Regular people shouldn't be practicing this. So if you act with hatred towards another and you're mistaken about them, then you've hurt someone unjustifiably. But if you behave lovingly towards everyone, you are certainly doing a mitzvah. And that is the interactive notebook for Perek of Tanya.